fucking whoops. Oh well. So as you can see here, we're on a streaming program called X Broadcaster, which allows us to do 2 cameras at a time. Hopefully that's not cause the system to lag too badly in terms of the stream.
Oh, well.
Dropping.
So as you can see here, we're on
a lot of them. So
streaming program.
We should be all right.
X Broadcaster.
If anybody's actually watching,
2 cameras at a time. Badly in terms of the stream dropping. So as you can see here, we're on a lot of streaming program. We should be all right.
I could do the preview windows.
If anybody's actually watching, 2 cameras at a time.
Just a little bit of that live. At any rate, guys, we are again here to go over some things that have come in recently. See if people are watching, because many of y'all who's watching here in the chat room, let me know if you can hear me. I'm not broadcasting nothing.
We're again here. So as you can see here, you're on a streaming program. We should be all right.
First thing that you guys are going to notice here are the 2 cameras. We're on a kind of crappy webcam regular webcam that we do our regular videos on. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on over. Fancy transitions and everything. So one of the first things we picked up this past Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday period was the Dazzler used car models.com ran a special on the store. It was like 12% off, something like that. Autobreaking.com. And so I picked up some undecorated blanks for the new car stuff. This right here is this right here is the Welly. This is 2008 Tahoe. Kind of an oddball thing because it's not really a conglomeration of any select thing. The wheels on here are more what would be appropriate for a 2006 Pro Tahoe. It's also way undersized for the scale. It is 3/4 It comes with the option to take this quick bumper off. It also came with grounding here. It came with 3 different light bars that you can put on it, sort of a LED style and more conventional rotating style would be a really old style, which is like a 1990s haircut. And then a Vista, which is the pickup stuff. You could technically speaking make with this in white. If you just like a decal thing, you can make a fairly decent. I'll have to have the whole commercial ready to get the look in the car. I mean, just the way it is. The hood does not open on here. The door is, like I said, it's way undersized for the scale it represents, but I'm not really going to worry about that. It's the reality of all the other stuff that's undersized. This here is a Motormax 2014 onward, excuse me. Please don't put that in this has a, now again, doors open, you're not yet really fixed as far as what it is, what top. It has these god-awful decals stuck in the window back here, so once again, I guess that's to have a rear, tail lights put out, inverted, and then up front, it's got those little reflective painted into the push bar, and then I love these little ones that painted onto the back of the mirror next to it. Truly realistic. Another realistic aspect of this vehicle is how the spotlight appear out of the break in the windshield. That's realized, right? You roll in through the bottom of the windshield and put the spotlights on. Other than that, I mean, it's a little bit better than the Welly in terms of scale. But the Motormax also did a thinking about it for it. And their footwork is a little more finesse, if you will, than this is. And then that makes my die-cast side of things. Normally I don't buy die-cast stuff because I don't want completely blown up. This is the Northback 2015 Tahoe that we do now, the repair demonstrator. Really, if you wanted to use this as a demonstrator, the sound compressor light bar has no base in it. It's just clear plastic with no bottom to it. It's a really nice die-cast. The interior is really nice. It's just the push-button that, again, I need to get it off. It's so that the doors open at night, like hinge mechanism. They're closed nice and solid. The rear passenger thing opens as well. It has like a, has a command style console back here. Light that is capable of showing. We've got so much sunlight and the overhead lights sort of canceling each other out, unfortunately. Flashlights in the sun between there, so we've got that command console style thing going on in there. Squawk Games Tableau command center communicating gear, all sorts of nominal gears for anything from motor vehicles, collector type of vehicles. All of these, including the one that's already black, are all going to get stripped and repainted black. In my delusional grand world tour of the hobby, you guys probably noticed if you're watching the channel for any length of time, we're starting to do a dealership. And as part of the dealership, it needs to get a protective services division, so that's called the security department, for lack of better terms. We've been dealing with as many high-end motorsports vehicles as we do. Well, then something else. This will hold us up for a second. Yeah, I'm still not doing it. It's poorly focusing on the background there. Alright, so moving on from there, we got some stuff from overseas in terms of some spot models. We have, I mentioned Flyer for their F1 modeling website. I don't do F1 modeling websites, but if you do F1, check out the website. We ordered a couple things of Epicross decals here for the D-Max BMW M3. They are a couple of tons of speed calls. In the stream here and see if that helps. I've turned off the speakers, so maybe this my computer is muted, but it might be feeding back through the camera. So we'll try that. I know you're not supposed to be silent on a feed, but I'm trying to get a couple things accomplished here. As far as trying to listen to myself, basically. All right, now I've got a pair of. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, I got a set of headphones in so I can listen to myself, so I'm not broadcasting over. Yeah, you're right, guys. That sounds a heck of a lot better. Sorry about that. It's designed basically as a game broadcasting system, so that allows you to listen to your video game system while you're streaming, because obviously you can record this offline as well. So, real quick cover, Tahoe, and let's say Police Interceptor utility. And again, let me see here. We're trying to get everything straightened back out as far as what I was looking at. Black. This is going to be repainted black. Everything's going to be stripped because we have the great big car dealership idea, and we want to have security for it. So, we ordered some decals from Decal Costs, or Decal Costs, however they pronounce it. I'm going to say Decal Costs because it's European, from Spot Model. They had a sale for Cyber Monday. I can't remember what the shtick was, exactly what the sale was. We've been looking to get these decals anyway. These are for the B-Max E30 M3 kit. This is the 92 Tic Tac Valier Motorsports. It's kind of a unique way they're going to go about this, because obviously that'll be a pain in the butt to try to have to like hand paint all those circles, right? Or ovals. I want to say circles all the time, but they're technically ovals. But what they did with this decal sheet is they give you a masking set. You paint the whole thing green, and right now the only place I know that you can get the green color is through Zero Paints. They're not my first choice of paint, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get your colors. But you paint the whole thing that pea shade of green, and then they give you a set of masks to apply over basically the entire body to then mask off all of the car, and then you paint it white. Right, so everywhere you see white is the mask through the background. So this right here is like over the hood. This is the roof, the trunk, the back fenders, the rear, rear deck lid area. So it's a different approach, and certainly a unique one. I mean, I thought it would have been easier to do it sort of backwards. You know what I mean? Take the paint and paint it white, and then paint it green instead. But this gives you an idea in the instructions as far as what you're supposed to be doing with them. So that's a different way of going about it, certainly, than than the traditional way. I've seen there's a test, one of these built that's on Spot Model as far as selling you the decals. And one thing I noticed is that the ovals are not very tight on it, meaning that the guy didn't really put the mask down real firmly, which I could sort of see, because you sort of risk the peeling the paint back up when you do the masks. But at the same time, you got to do, you can't not seal a mask, and there's a lot of circles to go through there. This has, you build a 35 and 36 car, basically there's effectively no difference between the two, other than the fact that of the numbers, all of them share the same, upper thing here. Really nice decals. Decal Cost stuff's really nice as far as registry. It's whites being white. There's a ability to build a test car down here if you want to just paint it green without all the Tic Tac, Tic Tacs being on it, if you will. So there's that. This also requires, you'll notice, it may not show up real well on here, but it requires a different set of wheels than comes with the kit. So we ordered from Scale Production their 18-inch Oz Racing wheels to go on this. Little couple of Oz Racing wheels logos. Obviously, you could also use these on like the Alfa Romeo 155 Ti V6s. Anything that has a male wheel, like a Tamiya or a B-Max kit does. So those go with these. So that project is pretty much done, except I don't have the paint for it. Been talking to Mate over at Gravity Colors, trying to convince him to do it, but it's kind of one of those situations where it's a real low volume type of situation, where how many of these are really going to be being built, well, how many of them are going to get built, period, but how many US-based customers are really going to want to build that specific DTM car. So, I'd like to not switch paints around too much, especially some of the stuff I hear about Zero, in terms of it being like not reduced paint, meaning it's not thinned out like the way Gravity is. It's basically straight automotive paint, which I can paint with. I painted out of Duplicolor cans before, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. Simple enough. This is the Decal Cost 1988 Team Alpina decals. I know it's glare, again, overhead lights, and then there's sun coming straight this way. But this is these are very interesting cars in the sense of this dark blue, because it carries over into the interior as well, which I don't think I have any pictures to show you of, but a number of the interior pieces are also that shade of blue, and the interior is this weird shade of green. The decals on this are on the back, so I'm not going to take them out and subject you to all the crinkling. So you can see it comes with the blue stripes down the side that work into the Michelin Man logos, and you can build as 22 and 23. The only differences really between the two cars are the headliners. The 23 car is blue like the car is, and then there's orange headliner on the other Alpina car. And then you have the gas cap rivets are blue and orange, and there's some, whether or not the headlights are crossed out or they have little LUK logos in the middle. So it's kind of an interesting decal sheet. This, as you can see, also has a non-standard set of wheels as far as the kit wheels. So for that, we got Scale Production 17-inch Alpina wheels. These ones, they literally did these wheels specifically for this car, although you could, of course, put it on whatever you want to. You notice up here is a 1 and a 2. The 2 are inset, if you want to call it that. They're regular wheels where the centers set into the wheel hubs themselves, and fit like a traditional wheel. The number 1s, which is what I have, as you can see the picture in the actual background here, this centerpiece just sits right on the wheel lip itself. So it's a flush wheel, sort of the way the BBS wheels are that go with the E30 M3s as well. So these are all metal. So you have an aluminum barrel, and then there's almost a turn metal center and a turn metal lip for it to sit on and everything like that. You can see from the back, there's no work done to the back of these barrels. They're just blanks. The front end obviously is machined to fit everything in. I know some people who have gotten these wheels that have sent them off to Michael Newport and places, Buckeye Scale Auto Parts, to get those, taken care of. And there are metal studs for these as well as far as the center lock goes. So again, you have a male fit wheel. Gives you an idea of how to build them here on the back. They do give you a set of resin brakes. They're tumbling around in here someplace. See if I can find them. There's one right here. Resin brake, which you can't see because it's blurry. There it goes. So you got a resin brake in there to replace the regular brakes. I think that probably just fills the wheel up a little bit, but it gives you an idea of how the wheels all fit together and things like that. Apparently you need to saw off 3/4 of a millimeter or something up there on the top, maybe to seat the wheel better, I guess. But anyway, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. This set of decals and wheels needs this green paint, which it just so happens that Mate at Gravity Colors is going to do. So actually, it's already done. If you wanted to go with this whole getup, you can order that paint already. The wheels are, again, Scale Production. I've never ordered from Scale Production before. I have a couple of good friends that are involved in sort of the day-to-days of telling them what to make. Guy's kind of eccentric, but so are most resin casters and what I was trying to think of, cottage industry guys. But they've always said it's real good stuff. And the Oz wheels, which are resin cast, period, they look really good. So, I'm happy with what I got. It took me, I think those were $40 for both sets of wheels with shipping. And they took maybe 10 days to get here, so good shipping. And then they threw in, over at Spot Model, they threw in these DecoCost masking sheets. There's 5 of these in here, and they're basically decal-sized sheets of masking tape, just laid flat. So, making window masks, making regular masks for, anything to do with, painting and stuff like that. Hey, it's cool. It's free. It wasn't part of the deal, but I just got, like I said, 5 sheets of this, so this will last a while and hopefully go somewhere. And there's that. See my completed cars. Well, and if you've watched my videos, you know what my completed cars are. Because that's what the completed cars are. It looks like... Oh, I'm still talking. Okay, I was looking at the chat room. And the chat room's on a delay from what I'm watching on the actual broadcast itself. Alright, so next up, we got stuff from Gravity. We got a little goodie box of Toxic Chemicals. If you're here because you saw me telling you about this live broadcast on our Facebook page, you know what you've seen these already. But we have... let me put this over here so I don't drop it. I have Lamborghini. This is not going to work. I need the blank of this for this to function. Lamborghini Verde Artemis, I guess. So sort of a teal green. Looks like the color for the 40th anniversary color that they did for a couple different things. There's a police version of the Murcielago that Fujimi did that's pretty much the same color. So this was just a, oh look, a cute Lamborghini color. Cute, a nice robust Lamborghini color. This is Ferrari Tour de Course, or Tour de France Blue. This will be used for what the cover is showing there. To make this specific FXXK, I have the decals to do that. Let's see here. We've got good old Chevy Le Mans Blue. I have pretty much all the 69 Camaro kits somewhere around here. So one of them will be the requisite blue. This is Chevrolet Classic Copper, being shown on like a 7.5 Camaro on the label here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this necessarily. I don't know. I have one of the first reissues of the 7.5 Camaro from the round 2 days. The one that was molded, everything was molded in orange, that god-awful thing. I don't know if I'm going to paint that or not. I just like the color. Let me see here. This, again, is just something I like the color. I don't know what I'm going to paint with it, and it's 57 Ford Thunderbird Bronze. I just like the bronze color. You don't see too many bronzes just in general, let alone for that particular use. I'm trying to find stuff that I actually ordered here, because mate sent me a few extra things because my order took so long to get here. This is on Porsche 911 Mint Green. You see all of this on those Japanese style RWB. The big over fender Porsches are painted this color, but I like this mint green because, you know, it's not a lot of color. But again, not a lot of mint greens you see flying around. Obviously, Tamiya has that one teal that everybody did one time, but that's not really mint. This is Porsche Amethyst. So this right here really legitimately will be the color I paint my Panamera when that comes out. Panamera, by the way, guys, if you didn't watch any of the videos recently, I'm not even sure I mentioned it in the recent videos, but that'll be coming out in December in Europe, which probably means for us here in the United States to get the Revell of Germany boxing. Keep that in mind. That's right now there's no rebox of that kit planned. The Revell of Germany reboxing or box will come out probably in February, I'm going to say. We'll be able to get it out of Europe through eBay and things like that earlier. But right now the only rebox of any Revell of Germany kit that's planned, as we know of it right now, is the Porsche Junior Tractor, which will come out sometime in the first quarter. This is Porsche 911 GT3 RS Green. Yeah, sure. Okay. I don't have a Porsche GT3 RS. Nobody makes a kit of it. I think Welly or somebody makes a diecast of it. But again, it's a nice green. It'll be on something sooner or later. And then I got sent, like I said, a couple of things here as a thank you for not being a complete and total douche about the weight. And they are the new, some of the new 2002 colors. So this is BMW Golf Yellow. This will more than likely be what I paint my 2000 Tii that I have. I like this yellow. There's also a blue, which I don't have in this bunch, that I will pick up at some point, because I told you guys in the last stash report, I'm sure there's going to be more 2002s. And here you have the Charmin X White for the 2002 Turbo. So this, again, really will be what I paint with this, because I like the idea of the white turbo, especially with the decals that come with the Hasegawa kit. They have the ones that have the turbo in reverse lettering, so you can see it come up on behind you in right, the way like ambulance is written backwards on front of ambulances. So. And then last but not least, out of the Gravity Colors bin here, we have the BMW Alpina Green. So this apparently was actually a factory color in 1988 for BMW, which is a god-awful color to be painting your factory stock BMW, but we won't have to worry about that because, again, this will be done as the DTM car. So that project is therefore complete because that is here to paint those. So all in all, you know, good stuff there. Now we'll move on to the stuff that came in the great big boxes you guys saw. Let me check chat and see what's going on here. Nothing. Excellent. Guys are quiet. It means I don't have to pay attention to it. Big scrape on the floor as we drag stuff over here. Now, this box is sort of half split. Some of the stuff is Buyee. For anybody who's new to the channel, hasn't heard me talk about it before, Buyee is a English language buying third proxy bidding service for Yahoo Japan auctions. Yahoo Japan auctions arguably are probably bigger than the actual eBay Japan auctions, or at least populated by people in Japan who aren't necessarily out to get you, the way that a lot of the Japanese sellers, and I'm not all the Japanese sellers. Of course, there's places like Plaza Japan and things like that that are perfectly good and upstandable, but every now and then you see the kit that you know exists as a shelf kit for $70, $80, $90, and you're like, who are you trying to fool? Because it wouldn't cost that much in the United States. But yeah, it's all secondary resale market. It's almost flea market's the wrong word, but it's, you know, definitely there's a few hobby retailers on the model kit section, but more than you know, likely the majority of the people are actually you know, individuals selling stuff. So you can get some great stuff for not such ridiculous prices. So that's been great. Pardon the drinks every now and then, but we're still dealing with the throat thing. So I picked up, you guys know, watch the videos, I have a whole bunch of, wow, we're way too close to the camera here. Let me do some adjustments here. There we go. You guys know I picked up a bunch of these 635Is recently. This is the 2002 reissue of that kit that was done with fresh decals, Cadigraph, for the Jägermeister car that ran, I believe, this is either European Touring or something along those lines. I'll take a peek at what the instructions say that we're racing in here. No, this is a DTM car. Alright, well, cool. So, just, you know, these are real basic decals, obviously. Just some Jägermeister logos. This is a limited reissue, obviously, because, you know, verboten to have alcohol on something like this, molded in orange, which is whatever, because it's going to be orange. You know, I know some people are not big fans of painting molded in color. Some people are huge fans of molded in colors, but, you know, be that as it were. I'm trying to see here if this, they give a blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to see if it did real well on anything. Oh, well, that, contributed to a strong showing that year. Alright, so some research is going to be done on this car to see how well it finished. That's okay, I enjoy that stuff, you guys know that. I picked this up because this is one of the Hasegawa kits that has not been reissued in terms of the Civics. Now, they just started reissuing the four-door Civic JTC cars. So it's possible that I paid too much for this. I paid $40 for this altogether, which is too much for this because this is a, let's see, is there a yen price on the end of this? 2,200 yen. So it's a $20 model kit back in 1980 or 1995. But what this has that a lot of the other the four-door cars that are out so far, the Castrol car and the Jax cars, it has a different set of wheels. And really, when it comes down to it, that's what sort of makes the car, if you will, is the wheels. Because, I mean, I could build it with the wrong wheels. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is. And they're kind of buried in here. But it has the correct wheels for this car specifically. The decals that come with it, you know, they're kind of showing their age. There's old as my high school education. They're yellowing and stuff like that. But the reason why I bought this for reals, if you will, is because it comes with the Shunko replacement sheet for it, which is just basically a copy of the actual decals that came with the kit. So I can just whip this together. Yeah, whip things together. Like I'm gonna build this tomorrow. But anyway, it has the replacement decals that are not yellow, that are not faded. And these decals are, you know, like $20 decals. So $20 kit, $20 decals. I paid $45 for it, so I really didn't. I think it was a fair price all in all, because it saves me a lot of problems down the line trying to, again, get decals for it. This Heller kit, this Mercedes sedan delivery, for lack of a better term, it's, you know, you see these come up and they're really expensive for some reason. Now, they did this like a sedan version of it, and then they did this delivery version of it. Or I should say a car version, like an actual sedan car, not a sedan delivery like this is. And this was, I guess because it's Heller maybe, and it has that reputation. I haven't looked inside of it to see if it's really bad or not. But when this thing was done in 1984, it was the Model Blau Kit of the Year. If you guys watch the Nuremberg coverage, you know that there's a model magazine in Germany. It's still been going, obviously, since the mid-1980s, that always awards like a Car of the Year, model kit, or model kit, car of the year, a military vehicle, airplane, boat, and things like that. And back in 1984, this tooling, when it was done originally, was the kit of the year. Now, like a Heller, any good Heller kit, this is obviously going to be a multi-piece body, because why wouldn't it be? I'm not sure what year this would have been done in, because I don't see a year on it, unless I'm missing it. Copyright, this, that, and the other thing. No actual year on it. So this has all of the good stuff, where the chrome plating is horrific. Looks like the body is multi-piece. Ooh, this look like the tires look kind of gnarly. They got some white stuff on them. I don't know if that's mold or if that's just age. But as you can see here, the chassis, the interior pan is separate. The doors are separate. You're building the whole shebang. There's the front clip fenders here. The hood, which I like, is sort of pre-hinge for convenience. There's the frame, and this right here obviously is the actual body for it. The body, actually, this part of the body actually being one piece is probably pretty handy, because all you got to do is get the doors on and get this back door on. For a second there, I thought it was warped. It's just the way this looks. But yeah, I mean, this will have some purpose. You can never have too many shop vans, especially ones that are from foreign countries. And like I said, I paid a grand total of $17 for this. Oh, you got some decals. They're taped to the lid. Cool. I'm not sure what that is. Anybody speak German that knows what this down here says? Humor dabber. Humor dabber doober. I don't mean to make fun of anybody's native language, but I certainly don't read German. The instructions are typical Heller affair, which, they're decent. Nothing. You're not going to go crazy about these, but they're nothing bad. Heller has a reputation probably that it doesn't deserve, mainly because so much of their stuff is multi-piece, this, that, and the other thing. And so people don't like that. And since a lot of the tooling is older, 70s, 80s, some of it is not the best taken care of stuff. Now, they've been obviously reissuing a whole bunch of the classics. Wouldn't be surprised if Heller stays in one piece, because, they went through bankruptcy last year, that this Mercedes doesn't come back around in some form or format. But until then, for $16, yeah, that was worth the $16 to me. Something else picked up is one of the oops, I'm watching the wrong screen again. I'm watching the actual feed instead of my thing. This is the first year of the GSR Good Smile Racing BMW Z4s. This is a round 8 Motegi version. There is, of course, a round 1 or round 2 version that they did earlier in the year. This is, as Mr. Jonathan Stevens, if he's out there watching, would like to call decal hell. And yeah, I'll give you, it's not exactly, it's not exactly your run-of-the-mill, 4-piece decal sheet or anything else like that, but it is what it is. This is kind of nice because it comes with a little Fujimi folder. It's all bent to heck and back, but it's cool. I mean, it's one of the, if you've ever seen Japanese love these plastic folders, I have no idea what this is about in terms of why, but this is a little plastic folder. Like you stick the you take and stick the instruction sheet in here, and you could take and stick the actual decal sheet in here, and I don't know, keep it separate. The instructions, though, if you've never seen one of these Good Smile Racing cars, they're pretty much just the standard Fujimi instructions, and then there's another instruction sheet in here for how to put the decals on. But this is really cool. I like this because it's got the actual picture of the box art on here. I'm gonna straighten this out and probably hang it up once we get all the dusts put together. So you can go over here for now. And so this is a complete kit. I paid $23 for it, which is less than the current asking price is in terms of the kit itself. I think it's what, a 4,000 yen kit, so it's $40. You can get it off of Studio 20, or not Studio 27. Wow, I'm thinking too far ahead there. You can get it off of HobbyLink Japan and Hobby Search for around 35 or so. So here's your decal hell, like how you're gonna do this. You put down, it's very, first of all, you need some translation software just so you can figure out what you're doing. And then, Google Translate, you can get it on your phone, take a picture of the words, and then put it through Google Translate's image translator, and you'll get a vague idea what you need to do up here. But basically, you put down a little bit here, and then you put down the figure, and then you put down some more stuff. I mean, it's very, sequential. It's not like, it's not a decal guide. Well, I mean, there is a decal guide the way you would think of one, like this. Oh, here, do that. Make this happen. There is that, but it definitely goes through, like, individually, step by step, all of the underlayer stuff that you need to put down underneath of all of the livery itself, which of course is, all the numbers and sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So, take your time, take a deep breath. I don't know if an alcoholic beverage will help or hinder you in this, but, and by the way, if you have to be young, don't drink. But always have young viewers in there, so make sure you don't tell them to go. I don't want anybody's parents sending me nasty messages on Facebook or YouTube. Well, you told my kid to drink. No, I told you to drink. Your kids should mind their own business. Looks like there's a little tiny supplemental decal sheet here. It looks like it has Recaro logos and stuff on it. That's kind of cool. It's supposed to be the 16,056 individual sponsors. There must be a stack of them right there. So that's kind of a little cool thing. And then here are your actual decals themselves. If you've never seen what one of these decal sheets looks like. So, I mean, it's a lot of decals. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot of decals, obviously. But I think, again, just pay attention to what you're doing as far as how you lay these out and what goes where. It's not that bad. The biggest decals, are going to be trying to get this on the hood and this on the roof and these on the side and get them all laid down and snuggled over all the multiple corners. But, I mean, everything else, like this is the roof decal here. I mean, obviously, they're not making you paint the splatter. There's some carbon fiber insets for the hood, and this goes around because here's one part of the intake holes, for lack of a better term, right here. It's a lot of decals, not gonna lie, but I also like decals, so I like decaling. So for me, yay, I'm good with that. I know some people right now are probably literally shivering. I gotta flip over to the chat room and see who's over there calling me crazy, but. Again, $28 for this, and having the decals be perfect and brand new kit. Somebody just had bought it, obviously with the intention of building it at some point in time, and then decided that was entirely too many decals, and then said, nope, not going to do that. So let's take a peek at the chat room, because I think there was a couple things I saw pop up here. Good to see the stash live. Happy to be live. Who puts out 1948 and older type of kits other than Revell, AMT, MPC, or Lindbergh? Jody, the only thing I can think of is like the Toyota AA, the old 1936 car that Tamiya did. This kit, oops, again, watching the wrong screen. I got used to this. This kit, this is like a 1936. Let me get the focus. Good grief. Too much dust. The camera doesn't want to focus. So there you go, guys. I got to build models. My kits are getting dusty. But yeah, so I mean, a lot of people say this was like a Chrysler Airflow. Argumentatively speaking, they came out around the same time. So who's to say who stole what idea? It's a curbside. It does have like the bottom of the engine underneath of it. The engine in it looks a whole heck of a lot like a straight, Chevy 6-cylinder. So I mean, you could, if you want to put an engine in, I suppose you could. But that's really probably about it. I mean, the Japanese kit manufacturers, they came into effect, obviously well, not a long time, but 20, 30 years after your AMT, your MPC, your Revells, and things like that. And the move to do historic vehicles is a recent one. Obviously, even within Japanese, industrial history, the car is kind of a new thing. There was, obviously motor vehicles done around the time of World War II and things like that, and especially after the war, but it wasn't a big thing prior to it. Like, there was no real 1910, 1912, 1920s type of thing. Horses, carts, and that sort of thing. This push now we're seeing into the historic Japanese vehicles is nice because you're getting some stuff from way back, but really the Japanese stuff, the good stuff, the stuff that's not old motorized toys, you're looking at stuff like, the Subaru 360, the Honda M360, which again is like a 60s car. 50s, 60s, really there. I mean, other than that, I mean, Galaxy Limited did the did the Chevys. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at my stuff here. That's really it. I mean, Nobody's really done any really. I mean, Heller's done a whole bunch of cars. I know Jody, you said Heller, stink, but they did a whole bunch of classic cars too. So let's see here. Testers makes the 48 Ford. That's the old IMC kit. It's that one is what it is. That's multi-piece body and deserves the reputation that it has. So lastly, from Baiyi, we have this, which is another Le Mans car. Guys, I swore up once down the other that I don't do prototype race cars. I just don't. I don't have any interest in them. Evil, blah, yuck, yuck, yuck. And then Studio 27 here has gone on a tear recently, where they're doing carbon fiber decal sets for some of these Le Mans cars. So this, in this case, is the 91 Le Mans 24-hour winner. It is the only winning Japanese race car, obviously, for Le Mans. Nice little itty-bitty box here. It's back in the good old days. When was this kit done? 1992. So back in the good old days when Tamiya's box art was showing you a whole heck of a lot of stuff that didn't exist. Like this wiring doesn't come with the engine or anything else like that. It is molded in orange, but that's okay. This car is orange and green, basically. This actually has turn metal center nuts. That's kind of nice. I've never actually seen the inside of one of these kits, so bear with me. Very reminiscent of the Porsche 956 and these little long parts runners. And then you have the body, which is the normal Tamiya affair, where the body is molded together with a bracket runner in the middle to keep everything there. And then you got your clear pieces in the middle. You have your big old honking runner here that has the chassis plate and the front suspension. Looks like brakes, the wheels. They're replacement metal wheels for these. I don't know if I'm going to go that far with it in terms of making it correct. It looks decent enough for being what I want to do with it. Here are the decals. They're just sort of stuck in a plastic trash bag. What you might associate with plastic trash bag. I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. Yeah, there you go. See, there's some weird patterning going on there. This has been stuck to the back of the instruction sheet or something like that. So whether or not those green things are going to come off there in one piece, I don't know. The yellowing isn't too terribly bad, but all these dashes are going to, it would start looking bad. I mean, a lot of things about decal yellowing. Another thing to think about there is the fact that they're not really yellow. The decals themselves aren't really yellow. It's the glue that is. So if you do some careful decal application where you constantly massage the water out from underneath the decal, which is obviously going to tear the decal, but theoretically it doesn't tear the decal, you can get all the yellow out because you're just going to squeeze all the ink out. And then there's this little supplemental sheet here that has the driver's names, and the top of the car is silver, so there's a decal for that. Yeah, don't care, because I have replacement decals. Now the replacement decals will require me to paint this in a two-tone, paint the green and the orange, but I'll live. What if Tamiya's 1990s engines here, where you have an engine, but it's not exactly a complete full detail engine, and it looks like pretty much your standard affair as far as a prototype race car from Tamiya. It does give you an idea here because it's telling you to put the decals on, but at least it gives you a nice idea of how to mask the car. So there's that at least. And along with the back here, how to mask the back. So there's that, and then of course the big deal with this, of course, is this sort of checkerboard thing with the dotted lines. So you're masking around that. It's not as bad a mask as you'd think it would be. I mean, it's the darker parts are orange, the lighter parts are green, and then this part back here is silver. I'll live. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I can show you a DTM car that's a really big mess as far as trying to mask the car off for the decals. So nice vintage Tamiya kit there. I mean, even if you don't like the subject matter, it's going to slide together like butter, or more or less. So there's that. I assume that the reason why a lot of these, why this car has replacement wheels, are because the lips on here are stainless steel or chrome-ish color. Obviously, well, there's solutions to that. Now I know I just reached my arm across, but hey, they're not orange anymore. So yeah. We'll take care of the chrome. Don't need aftermarket wheels for that. So there's that. I paid too much for it in terms of what this cost. Originally, this was a 1,500 yen kit, which means it's like 13 bucks. I paid significantly more than that, less than 50, but more than that. because these are impossible to find. They did another version of this with a Japanese sports car prototype series. It's a white car, white box art, and it has aero discs on the rear wheels. But it didn't matter to me which one I got necessarily because they're both more or less the same kit. But I wanted the Le Mans one in case there was any kind of wonky thing. So Tommy likes to do that where they're like, oh, hey, there's this kit and it's this way. And then we released another kit that's that way and it's missing these parts. Anybody who wants to build like a 956 Porsche will know that if you want a 956 that has BBS wheels in the front and the back, there's only one of the 5 kits that actually comes that way. Otherwise, it only comes with one set of BBS wheels. So there's that. That's something I was vaguely interested in. And then they said, hey, we're going to do these decals. And I was like, oh, all right. Hey, Paul, good morning. All right, so we're in the Hobby Link Japan box here now. So we're going to go ahead and look at what we got here. Portrait style box, because I don't know if I can get this on the camera any other way. You can't tell what it is. There it is, the Porsche 968 Club Sport. Yeah, so it's a yellow Porsche, basically. It has a different set of wheels than the regular Porsche 968. It has a set of sport seats. It's molded in banana yellow, so I hope you like yellow as your color, or you want to paint over it. I know yellow would make some people more terrified than the actual red color does. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a Hasegawa kit. It is semi-full detail. This kit does come with an engine. The 968 and the 944 both share a engine. I don't know if it's shown on here anywhere. It's not, but there is an engine in here. And it does come with a little bit more parts than it needs, so you can kind of almost build a 944 turbo engine and put it in the 968. There was no 968 turbo per se. There was a race car version, but there is that. Playmos is supposed to have some stuff coming out, a more accurate set of wheels, a more accurate set of seats, and then some photo etch and stuff like that. So we'll see how he's doing. Haven't heard really anything out of Playmos recently, but he's still there. There's a whole bunch of stuff he promised us a while ago, and none of it has come out recently. So check in with him and see how he's doing. This was a very, very limited reissue of the Subaru. Wow, that red really does not like the camera, does it? This up here is just like, nope, I'm going to cause all kind of screen burn. All right, well, anyway, this is the Alcyon or the Turbo XT, depending on what country you were in at the time. This does have US spec parts in it, so you can take this dashboard and put the steering wheel on the right side. And it does have the scuttle panel to flip the wipers and stuff like that. It's a very basic kit, obviously. It was originally like an RC, like a 124 scale RC car, and then they made a model kit out of it later. I wanted to sort of wait to see what we're going to get out of this in terms, because I have not seen the inside of one of these kits before. It does have, like twin metal axles, so yeah, you're not quite completely Tommy-ed up here. Here's your chassis pan. It's basic. Obviously, the transaxle and the differential molded in back here, which leads to its motorized roots, but this is not the chassis that came with the RC car, nor is the interior, which is more or less a full interior, the interior that came with it, thank God. And here you got your 2 dashboards here, and your factory stock Subi wheels. One thing I hear about everybody's like, well, this is a great kit, it needs new wheels. I don't know, they're kind of like Corvette, four lug Corvette wheels to me. Yeah, little oldie time Tommy instruction sheet. There you go, look at that. There's actually one in English and one in Japanese. So you want to teach yourself Japanese, you can do that, because everything is quite literally in Japanese, including the Tamiya color callouts. So there's that. But there is an English language instruction sheet in here, so you don't have to panic if you're into this car. It does give you all the instructions as far as making either the Japanese spec or the European, the regular spec. This actually is designed to be the U.S. spec instructions because it's in English, so there's that. You've got your decals, and you've got a California. It's not going to show. There you go. We plan for you. Okay. Well, anyway, so there's a California license plate in there too. It was the neat little kit. I mean, neat little kit. There's obviously very little here to speak of, but neat little kits. I'll try to get it all back in here without breaking it. This was, like I said, reissued by Tamiya 2 months ago. They ran off what must have been 10 of these. And I'm not joking in the sense of the numbers, because this was not put for pre-order on HobbyLink Japan. It was on HobbySearch, 1999.jp, but it wasn't very much. So a couple different color ideas there. You sort of got a white and a teal blue, and then there's, oh, jeez. And there's this blue one on the side. I like this blue car. I think that might be where I'm going. That might be a little bit of a too light a blue for what I'm looking for, but very neat conversation piece from the 1980s. Let's see, what else we got here? We got 2 of these. I'm going to take them both out, but this is the Cedric Gloria 4-door hardtop V30 Brougham, blah, 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 blah. I know you guys probably not really particularly thrilled about and interested about that, but, you know, it is what it is. Primary differences between these 2 kits are the grills. And it's kind of probably hard to tell. There you go. This one's an 8-slot grill. This one's a 4-slot grill. There are differences in the tail lights. This is a very vintage kit, also, in the sense of its originalities. This does come with part of an engine insert in it, because look, it's got a clear hood. Now, if you do want to put this engine insert in, which is quite literally an engine insert, no firewall, no inner fender wells, just a motor, just a block down here, and then heads and attachment points, and there's the top of it here. Got your Turbo 3000 V8. It's a pretty decent engraving for the time. No, yes, maybe. It was in focus for a second, and then I moved it. That's as good as it's going to get. We're not going to spin it all day here. So these are the new parts that they just tooled up, because these kits were never quite factory stock. So there's a new grill for each of the cars. Let me see, what else is in here? They also tooled up a new set of factory stock wheels, which I know, again, are like, oh, good grief. They're so boring. Yeah, that's true. They are. There's also a set of, like, Impul mesh wheels in here. These are the custom wheels that always came with this car. There's also another hood. Hey, why not? And this will give you your body. And then this is your chassis plate. This is based on an old motorized kit, which pretty much shows here, again, much like that Subaru, where your differential and your axle is molded into the chassis pan, and so is part of your exhaust. This part of the pipe right here is part of the exhaust pipe right here. That's all molded in there, but I mean, it's it's not completely motorized in that whole all-out sense. I'm trying to figure out why this has 2 hoods. I guess more likely one of these taillights is for the Gloria, one of these taillights is for the Cedric, and so they included both parts runners in there because this used to be sold separately in the past. This was one of those kits that was you bought one or the other, you didn't get both, so it has 2 sets in it. Obviously, they didn't include the second set of full-on window glass. I mean, it's got defroster lines on it, and for the 1980s, that's pretty in-depth molding. But it's obviously a sedan. Sedan. Nothing to write home about there necessarily. I'm trying to make sure I figure out what the other one of those is. All right, cool. So then we have the Aoshima Special Edition. This doesn't have a number down here, so special production of the Toyota Truno 86 Black Limited. What's up, John? This is a very limited edition version of the Truno. The shtick here is the car is black. But the car's black. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't paint it like the car box art. Well, if you want to paint this the way it's supposed to be black. Because it's got black, and then the trim and the wheels and everything is in gold. The interior, you have a choice of it being in gray or orange or black. I think this supports the gray and black and orange version, where it's a sort of a combination of the 3 as far as the trim level went. This is pretty much your standard issue Truno kit, which I'm pretty sure everybody who's watching this channel that cares about a Truno has seen the inside of a Truno before. So your body is molded in black, the hood's molded in black, and that's pretty much it. This does have a motorized style chassis where pretty much everything is molded in. Your exhaust pipe is mostly there. Your bottom of your engine is there. This does not, by the way, come with the insert for the engine, so this is a full-on curbside. You get what's new about this kit compared to the last time it was reissued is this has masking seals for the what I call the third pillar window, but the C and D pillar window, the window that goes back here on the hatchback. So that's nice. So I'm always for any window mast that available. Looks like you got some carpet decals in here too. Don't know how well those will actually look when it's done. You know, carpet and decals in place of anything fuzzy usually doesn't work out that well. And then here are your wheels. I was hoping they would come into focus, but they are not. They're painted, literally, because the backs are black. Oh, hey, what do you know? Now, see, this was not supposed to come with the engine insert. That was something that was not shown. It was shown in some of the pre-production instruction sheets, and that was supposed to be gone. But there, I lied. Look, that's always a nice surprise, right? Engine. So obviously, you don't get the bottom of the engine because the bottom of the engine is molded into the chassis itself, but the rest of the engine is here. So that's excellent. I was not expecting, quite literally not expecting there to be an engine insert in there, but there is. So that is awesome. Always good when you get an engine when you weren't expecting one. So that's fantastic. Nice touch there. Aoshima gets a thumbs up. Let's see, one more Aoshima kit here, and this is the reissue of the 2000 Skyline Turbo RSX. This is an R30 Skyline, so it is 1984. But it is 2 generations basically newer than the R32, which would be your first time the GTR would come back. So this is pretty much the top-of-the-line performance Skyline, which isn't really saying a lot in 1984, mind you. But this is the top-of-the-line performance model back then. Your choice of two-tone or two-tone, right? Hey. This gives you the optionality. There's an RS or an RSX, trim level being the differences there. This must have an engine insert in it too, though I didn't realize, because it's got a hood. Well, I always love Aoshima's. Yeah, cut a hood out. You'll be there. Actually, this has 2 hoods, because there's a regular hood too. And then one of the new pieces about this are these factory stock aluminum wheels that were done up for one of the other Skylines, which does not want to focus, but this is the first time this kit has come with factory stock wheels. It also was plagued or beautified by the Impal meshes that the other Nissan kits have. You can sort of see a theme there, right? Everything has the same wheels. That's what makes it affordable. Especially these are new 14-inch factory stock wheels too, factory stock tires, I should say. Now, what I do notice about this is that there is no engine insert in here at least not that I'm seeing. So, give you a couple of hoods, but they're just for looks and beauty, I guess. They look like the same hood in terms of trim level, so I'm not exactly sure what that's about. Oh well, if I got paid to think for Aoshima, I'd go broke. Pretty much the same chassis pan as the one that was in the Gloria and Cedric. Yeah, except it's got the catalytic converter molded in, not just a straight pipe, because this is new enough to be on unleaded gas. And then, let's see, here on the detail things, you've got some, you got your RB turbo and your RS turbo decals there, and some, looks like some interior panel decals, some new window masks for the windows, and a little itty bitty tiny thread of photo etch there for your Skyline and your turbo logo, so that's cool. Always nice to have some extras tossed in. What they've been doing with these, reissuing these old kits, well, not old, this kit's from 1984, basically, is try to put in as much of the stuff that you could put into it at one time. There's a bunch of ground effects in here for the RB turbo. Yeah, so, again, cool. They always give you this nice little warning on the side down here. It's like, hey, this is a kit from blah. Let's see if it's going to focus on it. Come on. There's something I wish I could manually focus this camera. That's all I gotta say about it. But anyway, down here it says, this kit was developed in the 1970s and may not be the same quality of current model kits. Well, it wasn't developed in the 1970s, it was developed in the 1980s, but yeah. Sometimes you can tell. And here we have, modelers. Resin. This is the brand new Nissan Fairlady Z Nismo resin kit. We're just going to be cranky. There we go. We're going to be cranky. We're not going to focus on anything. Ha! Screw you, James. So this is one of these object arts here that it confuses me as to why we made a whole resin thing out of this. Why we didn't make a trans kit for the Tamiya kit, because this is curbside. There's no engine in here. But yeah, that's what they did. So you get this sort of candy tray, if you will. This sort of looks like one of those old, hey, pass me the Christmas candy. Okay, what do you want? Do you want a tire? You want a wheel? You want an interior piece? So you have to very, very carefully unpack this, because the last one of these, you may recall, I got was the Subaru, and the Subaru went pretty much everywhere in the shipping process. This seems to, except for one piece here, which might just be a tie down. I'll have to get the instructions out and check. This appears to have all stayed in one place. In the bottom of the box, you have the instruction sheet. It gives you a parts rundown so you can check and make sure you have all your parts. You can get decals for the seats on the inside for the Nismo pattern. And this ends up being your instruction manual as well. It teaches you how to build the kit. I got too much stuff going on here at one time. There we go. This looks like a gaming simulator platform, does it not? Does this not look like it's out of a video way? This is just a flat floor, but it is. It's a curbside, and it's very basic curbside at that. And this sort of gives you where to put your decals and all that kind of stuff. It's it's not really hard to figure out, because most of the parts for this are for the inside. In here, you also have a little sheet of photo etch that has, amongst other things, has the brakes, which have no detail. That's fantastic. Look, it's just plain brakes. I wonder what the resin ones look like. License plate box, and then you have. Well, that's not going to, because I know I won't go into focus because it's in a plastic bag. Jim, just use all your brain, not part of it. If I can get it out of here without tearing the bag. There we go. And I'm still not going to focus. There's too much diverse field of light in here. But it's got a third brake light and a little clearance light for the back and some other stuff here that just is not going to focus. That's better. That's kind of interesting. It's got like a clear coat built up onto it, so you don't have to paint it. That's different. Haven't seen that too much. I've seen, things where they're printed, but that actually has like a coating to it on top. And let's see. These would be your decals. Nothing exactly to write home about there. They're registered, but that's about it. They're not real spectacular. You have your window pieces, which are all pre-blacked, which is kind of a nice feature. They're all sort of clear acetate rather than being plastic. So some fit may be required there in terms of getting that all in one piece and together. And then let's see if we can take this is sandwiched together. Let's see if we can get this apart without blowing it all over the place. Trying to figure out if it's taped together or not. I don't think it is. Just need to get an edge. Oops, hit the camera. Here we go. Come on. Little by little. There we go. Whew. You see what I mean by everything bouncing around. So the wheels are hard resin. They are what they are. I don't know if they're going to fit the wheels in this one any better than they did the last one. The wheels for the Subaru that did not fit particularly well on some people's. Some people's they did. This is well, it has the remnants of the resin buck right there. And I could take the time to sand it in front of you guys, but that would take all afternoon. It looks like it may basically sort of fit in here, although I'm pretty sure that the wheel is at least 2-3 millimeters wider than the actual tire is. So there's that. Or I may just have one of the front tires and one of the back wheels. Yep, there we go. That's better. So that fits. That explains why. Well, it's nice to know they're different outside diameters. So that's a nice tight fit on that. I'm not going to put it in all the way because then I won't be able to get it back out again. At least they're black wheels. You don't have to paint the wheels, but they're black resin. They're not rubber at all. You got some interior pieces. You got your center console. You got this dashboard, which is only left-hand drive, and it has this giant casting buck in the back of it. So at least you got something to hang on to while you're painting it, I guess. Then you have this part right here, which is the back seat area of the car. And then you got the actual body and chassis. Now this body and chassis, if it's anything like the Subaru, weighs about 110 pounds, and it does. You have sort of a minimal detailing on the chassis. It's not, you know, not bad. Obviously, there's screws that hold this whole thing together, so there is that part. But it is a block of resin. The body itself, other than the fact that it is, again, a giant block of resin. You set this down on a contest table, you may knock everything else off of it as everything goes flying akimbo across the floor. Now, what is nice about this is that the front, obviously the front and the rear fascias are already attached, so you don't have to deal with molding lines. You don't have to deal with gluing them on after you paint them or anything else like that. Now, that does put your tail light reflectors already in there for you, which is, yeah, that's what they make the fine tip Molotow pen for. I can't tell you guys how heavy this is. Obviously, if you turn it on the side, you can see how thick this is, right? So assuming it all fits together, you know, I mean, it does in the terms of it goes. I mean, it's a little rattly, but once you put the screws in, it'll fit. I mean, what do you? I don't think you can complain about it. I mean, there's no other option really, other than, you know, trying to make this saw the parts off of here and put them on the Tamiya kit. I guess I think it's really well done. It's another good modeler's resin kit. It's a little, like I said, a little bit different. This is a kit that I think sold out. In terms of I'd have to go look, because I know that I believe Jonathan had this on order, and he ordered it 4 or 5 days after I did, and he didn't get one. You have clear resin pieces. I know you can't see that. Clear resin pieces for the tail lights, and clear resin pieces for the headlights as well. They're see-through-ish. I mean, they're not clear plastic. You know, there's no air bubbles or anything like that, but they're not see-through per se. And wipers and other little bits and pieces there. Again, nice effort. I'm happy with it for the price point. I mean, I'm trying to think what exactly this ends up costing. It was like $80, I think. But for being, you know, a turnkey resin kit, in the sense that you really don't have to buy anything else, and you really don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. I mean, you could obviously go crazy and find some better photo etch brakes. It looks like the brakes on here are pretty much plain. Try to see if they look cross-drilled or anything. They're pretty much plain. I don't know if I think the brakes on this should be cross-ventilated. I mean, it's a performance car. I'd have to go look at pictures of the actual brakes on a 370Z Nismo, but I guess the only whole thing that might hold some people back is the fact, of course, it is only Japanese in terms of the build-up. You can't build it American style. I'm pretty sure you probably could get the, if you wanted to, one of the things you could try to do is get the US left-hand drive dashboard out of the 370Z Tamiya kit and then try to put it in there. I don't know how well it'll fit. You might have to do some things there. And, yeah, it is what it is in that sense. Like I said, I'm happy with it. What are your other options, really? The last kit in here is the reissue of the Hasegawa BMW 2002 Turbo. This has a couple different decal variations as far as this little front bumper goes, which is kind of cool. This will have separate over fenders and whatnot. This has a brand new body that has the new well, I think that's what they call this as far as the year goes. This is supposed to be they don't have a year on this. It had a year on it at one point in time. I think it's supposed to be a 74 in terms of the year. This has a brand new body in it because 74 had a few different changes done to it. And it also has the new square tail lights instead of the round ones that came with the original 2002 TII. It's still just a nice, excellent casting as far as the body goes. Very little in the way of mold lines even. And the mold lines are pretty cute, pretty hidden in terms of where they run. I mean, the mold line comes like down here. It comes down here and then goes down and runs along the edge of the trunk lip. So you just need to sand sort of the standing edge of that off, and then you don't have to have a whole heck of a lot of it going across wide open planes of your Model A trunk and whatnot. So their Hasegawa is sort of up their game a little bit. They're not Tamiya yet, or maybe not even ever aiming to be Tamiya, but they're certainly doing a lot of good work recently. Here are your over fenders for that kit, and along with the front bumper. So this whole sprue here is new. The new exhaust, the new back seat. Also has, I believe, the new steering wheel. And then in here, that you can't see it because I'm not going to take this apart right now, but you have the new wheels here, and then you go into the new seats for the turbo. Here are your decals, which again have a couple of different options as far as the front clip goes, you can do a non-tow hook or tow hook version. The regular decals have the tow hook hole. I know this has all of the decals for the rubber black around the windows, as well as like the trim. And I know some people really can't stand that. Obviously, there are no window masks because of that, and nor are there really any delineation in the window itself to paint that. So, caveat emptor there. But what I really like about this is the fact that it has these reverse turbo 2002 decals. So it has the, supposedly these were done on the actual race car itself to, so that when you're overtaking your competition, they could read what was passing them. And I would really, there we go. So really appreciate it. We'll just focus on that for half a second. I have perfect focus on this Jack's car back here where my thumb is, but not on the actual decals. I know I could just, I know what I could do to fix this, but we just need to take this out, take this out, and then stand this up on end. There we go. Now there's no background. Har har. So you got the frost wipers in here. You got all of the turbo logos, all the BMW logos. As far as the interior goes, you have a gauge cluster itself, as well as individual gauges if you want to do that style. And then, like I said, you have all of the trim. Now, I would BMF all of the trim. I wouldn't bother with this. I might use these decals for the window because it has that nice little seal already put into it for the vent window. And again, the window black around the windows, you're kind of stuck because there isn't any way to really deal with that otherwise, other than masking off this big blank one-piece window and hoping for the best. So again, not Tamiya necessarily, because Tamiya would probably give you window masks or would not do it quite that same way. But you know what? It's a very exciting time to be in the hobby right now, assuming this stuff appeals to you. I mean, you could be like 2002 BMW. That's the almost. Thanks for farting, Bach. Most appealing thing ever, but yeah. I mean, I'm happy to have it out. 2002 has been on the foreign guys' wish list for a long time, and I'm sure there'll probably be at least one more of those as time goes on, because now they have the new body with the square taillights. There'll be another 2002 TII or something along those lines. And then this little baggie here has all of our little bits and pieces, the good stuff as we like to call it. Here's the 787 upgrade parts. So this is the photo etch for that little Tamiya Le Mans car. Looks like wing edges, some vents. You got the photo etch seat belts, brake faces. I'm not exactly sure what these are supposed to be. I think these are the actual things that go over the wheel well itself. I have to check on what exactly they think those are. Let's see, what are those? Those are parts 33 and 34. So they are fender skirts. So yeah, all right, I was right. They're fender skirts. So if you never saw a Studio 27 photo etch before, you get this little parts layout on the back here. It tells you what everything is in obviously Japanese and English. And then there's an instruction sheet in here of sorts. It's not exactly complete. Anybody who has a Studio 27 photo etch set will tell you that they tell you what some stuff to put, and then they're just sort of like, yeah, good. Godspeed on the rest of it. You got the bases. You got the basics there, bud, right? So you can just figure the rest of it out. So obviously, this is telling you how to put the brake faces on. Looks like a switch lever for the dashboard there. Building the oil cooler mesh panel. You get your pedals. On the inside here, you're doing some more radiators, and you're building the side of the wing. Obviously, there's also one. That's why there's two wing inlets. This one up here is for the Japanese sports car series, and this again, guys, is why. Yeah, I bought the kit I bought, because this fenders right here, these are also for the Japanese sports car series. That's what this little JSPC 91 is for. So I bet you if you buy the Japanese sports car prototype kit, you have fender wells in the wrong winglets compared to the Le Mans car. But so you build the Le Mans car there, and you've got some front down here. You got some front radiator grills and the dive planes, and if you want to go so far as to build the photo etch windshield wiper, that's an option there too. So nice. And it's good to know that if you wanted to buy this set and you wanted to do one of the Japanese sports car kits, because the decals for those are available as well. Obviously, you may not necessarily need the Japanese sports car prototype kit if you have the fender skirts on here and not have to worry about getting the kit parts out. But it would be that. I don't know. I'll try to stuff the instruction manual back in. It's riveting. Guy's been hanging around for a while now. It's telling me my bit rate and how many bytes I put up. Yeah, it's not a gigabyte yet. It's not that bad. So there's that. Let's see what else is in here. Let's save those two for last. And so I've got the decals. Here's the replacement decals for the 1991 Le Mans. I keep putting it underneath the picture-in-picture. Sorry, guys. 1991 Le Mans charged car. So obviously we got nice fresh white dotted lines there. Got to cut those apart and make them fit, obviously. But this gives you a great big sideways. I was not expecting a sideways. Very big sideways layout here. So you get the idea as far as what needs to be green, what needs to be white. Like I said, I think it makes it look more complicated with the white lines on here, because you're like, oh, I need to mask this area and mask this area, and you realize that no, I just need to mask a great big wedge here, a great big wedge there, and then a great big V on the front, and then the rest of it can be painted green. I think looking at this, I'm not sure which way would be easier to go. What do you guys think? Would you paint it green and mask off the orange, or paint it orange and mask off the green? Gravity Colors, by the way, has the correct green and orange that you need to do this, which is where my green and orange will be coming from in the next order. This is going to be put into the pile of things to do that is not necessarily, at the top of the list, but it's certainly going to be up there. And then the reason why we got this kit in the first place, and then what sucked me into it, is there is now a carbon fiber decal sheet, or decal sheet for it. So this is two pieces. There's one little piece here and then a big full piece behind it. Obviously the front piece here, looking at it, I don't have a pointer, so we're just going to use the old X-Acto knife here. Has pieces for the interior here, towards the dashboard. This looks like the dive plane here and the front spoiler. This is obviously the seat itself, and then the seat sides, and then just all the rest of this is going to be interior, most likely. And let's take a look at the back here on the instruction manual. So this will give you an idea of where everything goes. When you do these big complex decal patterns, like you're doing with the seat and the interior up there on the top left, you do the decals in numerical order. So obviously you would do the decals for the seat before you install the seat, the 29 and 30s for the seat back and the seat sides, and then you would start with what looks like decal 55, which is actually behind the seat. That'd be important to put in there before you put the seat in. Well, actually, no, there's a 40. Now I look at it, there's a 45 and a 46. So you put those two pieces on first, and then you go 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. The reason you do these things in numerical order is because that way the carbon fiber overlaps, and you will not see panel gaps between the carbon fiber. If you lay it out of order, the weave will not lay over itself the right way, and you'll end up with very delineated sets of, this is a piece of decal, this is a piece of decal, this is a piece of decal. You put them in there the right order, the next decal is just a little scotch bigger than it needs to be, and it covers the actual line between the decal panels. So that's always something to keep in mind if you're working with these pre-cut Studio 27 decals and you've not done that before. I don't know if there's a back to this or not. It doesn't necessarily look like it. So this might be everything right up front here. I'm trying to look through the back of the through the back of this instruction sheet to see if there's a back door. We're just going to have to open it more, because the TS20, the GT1 Toyota decals, there's a two-sided instruction manual to that. This is not 3 sheets long the way that one was, so I don't know if there's a back to it or not. I can't quite get it. Oh, nope, there's a back to it. So on the back here, some more. I thought that was a little weak as far as the decals go. So some engine carbon fiber, some intake carbon fiber, piece for the top of the dashboard there, and then your rear uprights have some carbon fiber, some sides, some lots and lots and lots and lots of decals, which, as I've stated, is the only way to go about life. Go about life scared of your decals. What are you accomplishing? Now I know everybody's going to be like, well, build it. Let's see you decal it. Come on. If I do build one of these prototype sports car series, it'll be the Toyota one first, just because I have that one first, and it's a much easier paint scheme, and I have the paint for it already. It's just white and reds, so it's not a big deal as far as getting the paints for it. The Mazda, because it is something I bought specifically because there's carbon fiber decals, I want to get the correct color decals and be done with it. So get those back down in there. That's good enough. And then last but not least, and this will probably be it unless there's questions that I'm not seeing on the chat right now, are the two AMG GT3 liveries for the new Tamiya kit. You have your SAP, or if I dropped the thing and said something else. All right, well, you have your Bilstein car. This is the car that finished 4th. Looks like when they made this, they didn't realize they didn't put enough tire logos on it. So there's extra, because obviously up here, this is enough to make 2 tires, because you need 2 Michelin logos per wheel. And so we threw some more in down here for the rest of it. Everything looks like it's nice and registered there. Again, Gravity Colors is going to be doing this blue. The Blue Falcon Blue, which is what we're just sort of calling it, because I don't know what the actual color code it really is. But Blue Falcons has a number of cars that they raced also in Blancpain Endurance Series and things like that. They're also the same shade of blue. So if you don't, even if you don't necessarily like the Nuremberg thing, excuse me, this is like I said, again, the 4th place finishing car that in the 2016 24 Hours of Nuremberg. Even if you don't like this one, keep in mind that color is available should they make some other set of decals you do like. And then these really are the SAP livery. This is the winning car for the 2016 24 Hours of Le Mans. This will be the first one of these that we put together. It looks like it doesn't have enough tire logos either. I just looked at that, unless there's only supposed to be 1 on these. Nope, 2. So there's 2. Okay, there are. All right, now I've looked at it. And this is a white car, so very easy to get taken care of as far as the paint goes. Just need some white paint. Get some white primer and put gloss coat on it if you have to. I'm trying not to put it over here because then it's behind the picture-in-picture, but I need it to focus. So bear with me. There we go. Everything you need decal-wise is here. I like the fact that there are itty-bitty little decals for like the edge of the spoiler, the edge of the dive planes, which is what these little itty-bitty things down here are. And then your see where I'm looking here. Okay, there we go. I'll say your spoiler side edges here, and then I think and then it's 40-something, 45. Here it is. This big long strip right here, this wraps around the entire outside edge of this spoiler. So you lay it on the side here, and it goes the whole way around the outside of that. So yeah, fun times in Ridgemont High and all that. So, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to check the chat room here, see if we got anything else going on here. These kits must be pricey. Well, all told, I guess, yeah. I mean, this is $18 decal, $18 decal, $25 decal, $18 decal, and $9 photo etch set. So, well, there's $100 right there. The resin kit is $80. The kits themselves, I would say, these Aoshima reissues are averaging about $18.26 a piece. The only thing, like I said, cost me any money in that was getting that Civic. What am I trying to think of? What's the sponsorship there? The Pia Civic. Now, the reason I got the Pia Civic is because the Pia Civic 4-door also matches the Pia Civic. The Pia Civic. I'm sitting here talking to not talking to myself, but I realize I'm on the wrong camera. Let me fade over so you guys can see my face. There we go. The Pia Civic in the B-Max kit, and then I have the Pia decals to do the Honda Accord, the JTC Honda Accord. So there will be a family of little white Hondas as we go along. So I don't know what I'm going to work on next necessarily. I want to do the AMG. I really do. You know, this kit down here. Look, down here, there's a picture of the... I want to do this kit. I really do. It's one of the things that's calling out for me, much like the actual... the Macau, or the Macau, the made in Macau, the M6. Got Macau on my mind. I was looking something up earlier. But now, you guys may have seen that the guys over at Studio 27, I'm trying to think if I have a file for it on the computer. I'm not sure I do. The guys over at Studio 27 are doing a carbon fiber decal set for it. So I need to go into a different thing here. Let's see. Just be patient with me, guys. Play the Girl from Ipanema, which is the song that plays in the elevator during Blues Brothers while I download this picture. Because then I can add it to my little screen you guys are watching. Let's see. Save. And then let's go back over to the XSplitter. And then we can add a... Let's see here. Screen capture, game device. Media files. There we go. And then go over here. Go into this file. And I know. Thrilling. There we go. Haha. Right above my head. So they're going to do this decal set for the AMG. It is one of the most expensive carbon fiber decal sets they've ever done. I can't put my finger into it because it'll disappear. But if you look right above here, you'll see that price is 4,320 yen, which is about $40. Excuse me. So that's going to be, I think, Hobby Search is selling them for 3,800 yen. Hobby Japan selling them for 3,400 yen. At 3,400 yen, it's about $31 a sheet, I believe, or package. Now you do get three sheets of decals. This part right here is the seats, the rear spoiler. All those little triangles are the diffuser panel for the back. Above the seat sides, you see, are the parts that go around the window. This also, down here at the bottom are the parts that go around the window. Those parts right above where my finger is disappearing are the parts that go around this fuel filler right here on the side, back here, where the window would be back here. And then this part right here is all probably interior parts, some chassis pieces. And then I really don't know what this is with all these little ovals and circles. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. So I look forward to seeing a preview of the instructions and seeing what in the world those are supposed to be. I like the fact there's also an AMG logo on here, like the decal on the Tamiya kit is see-through maybe. I haven't seen anybody actually complain about that. Maybe, you know, if anybody's built one and you've done the actual spec kit here where you're doing the presentation car, is the AMG logo for the spoiler not actually, you know, thick enough, or is it showing through? Is it fading, basically? But, you know, pretty much every single car that runs this has an AMG spoiler on it, other than some of the really, really, you know, professionally done liveries out of the Blonde Paint series. So, yeah, I like to do this, but I think, actually, I am going to do the... I have a lot of stuff calling my name. This is what happens when you have way too many kits. You want to build everything all at one time. But I think I really do want to build this GT1 down here. Let's see, we take this, remove this off. There we go. Because this I have photo etch for. I also have decals for, which is a carbon fiber for. Let's see if I can find them. Yeah. Everything but what I need in that life. I'm not sure where I put those. Let me see here. Talk amongst yourself for a second. There's this part. Ah, there they are. I found it. Never mind. Don't need to talk amongst yourselves. Let me fade back over so I can be on this camera. I have the photo etch set for this, which includes a lot of obviously the radiator pieces. Again, the photo etch seat belts. And interesting, they don't have brake details here, just hub details. You've got these little panels here, which are for the doors, that sort of access doors on the side, which are not engraved into the kit, so that's kind of neat. Just put that on there, obviously underneath the paint. These back here are the edge lips to the spoiler, a Denso stencil for the spoilers. You can also just put the decals on. And then there's dive planes, and then there are these little pieces right here, these little curved pieces, and then the straight piece here. On the side of this car in real life, there are a number of... looks like I got flickering light, and it must be because the sun is in the trees outside. Let's see if I can get this whole thing in here. Down the side here, these are radiators, obviously, and then there are vents in each one of these little holes. Well, in the kit itself, there's nothing there. It's just see-through. So one of the things that I like about this is it'll fill those gaps. And I think it'll really improve the overall look of the kit. And then I have, of course, because why wouldn't I, the carbon fiber for this. Now this is 3 sheets of decals all together. There's this little piece down here, and then this right here. It's stopped where this is the rear wing, but this is actually a piece of, this is a decal sheet. There's a 3rd decal sheet behind it. You see, there's the edge of the 2nd one. So this is, and then there's a whole 3rd decal sheet back here. So this is a lot of carbon fiber going into the end of the fold, which will be there to back it up and make it look good. For some reason, this car, even though, like I said, I have no interest whatsoever in Le Mans cars, and I know the history behind this, and I'm not even going to build the Esso Ultron one that was the one that finished second. I'm going to build the Zent one that didn't finish at all. This car here, the Zent car, because I figure if I'm going to build something that I'm not totally behind building in the sense of like I really couldn't care one way or the other, it's just there's carbon fiber for it, and now I have to have it. I'm going to build the Lovable Loser because I've got so many decals for Lovable Losers. For some reason, that's just a very popular thing. This gray, this black, and the red, yeah, camera does not like that at all. So that might be one of the next things that go up in terms of the actual, what I'm doing. I'm not sure. Probably doable for us Canadians. Well, yeah, I mean, I know that... Depends on what you're willing to pay for shipping, John. I mean, you've got that whole situation where the shipping to Canada can be interesting. I'm not sure what the shipping for Canada really works out to be for, the Hobby Japan people. I know that from talking to Aries and a couple other people, it has been cheaper for them to buy kits in Tamiya kits, like the new NSX and the new AMG and things like that. It has been cheaper for them to buy the kits in Canada directly from Canadian vendors than it has been for them to buy it through Hobby Japan with the customs and everything else like that. So, I mean, buyer beware. You guys know your country better than I do. All I know down here in the United States, for better or for worse, we don't pay any kind of imports or anything like that on our model kits or anything like that. So, anyway, I guess that's really about it. Next couple of days, maybe after I get done with this video, this is going to come down. All these GT3 kits up here, you guys have been in the background watching. There's a couple of DTM stuff. All of this is going to come off this shelf, so I can take this shelf off the wall and move it over. And then this shelf back here, you guys see I emptied this part out. Anybody who's paid attention knows I have a whole Honda and Subaru dedicated shelf now around the corner. But I'm going to move this shelf off that wall. This sort of storage bin here, this is just going to go. It's old and it's falling apart, and it really doesn't serve any purposes. So there, it sort of is what it is in that sense. And I'm going to take, like I said, take this off the wall, take that off the wall, and then you guys can see this up in the ceiling here. These are a bunch of screens and windows for old things I've written. Some of these screens go to doors that I don't even have on my house anymore. Guys know that I live in my grandparents' house, moved in here 9, 10 years ago, and it's just been up here, and it's just where my one cat likes to hang out. But what I want to do with this is take all those screens, everything out of there, and then take this contraption that my grandfather built to hold all of that stuff off of there, because you can see over towards the kit here, it dings into the ability to put kits all the way to the ceiling. This shelf, that shelf moved. We're going to waterproof the wall back there into the corner, because if there's any other place this wall would leak, it would be in that corner where the foundation meets the actual outside of the house. Waterproof it and paint it. Once those two things are done, I'll put that shelf back where it is, and put this shelf, and we're going to scooch it down this way, probably about half the length of this storage bin. And then the other shelves that are over here come down this way, and that'll give me the space I need into that corner to put the desk that I want to buy into the desk. It'll be a great big corner desk. In the meantime, I'm going to get the other desk that's over on the outside of my basement and put it underneath the window so I can get my paint booth hooked up. But I need to get this stuff done so that I can then move these. There's a shelf, obviously, right here, and then there's another shelf off to the camera side that you guys can't see, but if you've been here long enough, you've seen. Those are going to get moved, and then I'm just going to paint the wall out to the corner. Once those two things get done, then the domestic kit shelves are going just get slid down the wall here a little bit, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna change this around so you guys don't get motion sick, because that'll be the little camera that moves. And then this, where all of these domestic kits are, this is gonna go this way. Where's my finger? There it is. Gonna go this way, about 4 inches. That'll, like, this open space here. You can see my Mazda, my Honda's poking out from the corner there. That'll let me, if I move those 2 shelves down a couple inches, that'll let me put 2 more sets of shelves in that corner back there. With those shelves, that should get almost all of the stuff that you can see in the background there, that's sort of hanging out on the floor, up off the floor. Some stuff behind all this stuff that you can't see, that'll get off the floor too, because when I'm ultimately done with it, I'm going to take all of these, whoops, well, why can I not, I'm pointing behind me, looking at a camera, looking at a screen, and I'm pointing in the wrong place. All of these are Skylines, all these kits up here. I'm going to go through there and take out the stuff that's not GTRs, and it's going to go over here in this open spot, along with all of the other Skylines from the 1980s and 70s that are sitting around. They're going to go in that big open gap. This is going to remain just GTRs only, because I have enough kits in there to fill in the space. And then you can see down here, there's just some random stuff. I don't know how well it shows from the screen, but it's Volkswagens, things like that. That's all going to go move someplace else. And then that bottom down there, you can't see at all, is empty. So all the Nissans that I have laying around here are all going to go over here, and it's going to be basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves of Nissans. And that should shelve every Nissan I have. There's a set of enough to get the Toyotas put away, and then it's really just a matter of doing something with a lot of these race car kits that are around here, because I have so many race car kits at this point. The Porsches need a new home. This stuff back here, on here, this, I don't know what this is going to end up being on top here. This may just end up being GT3 kits, and then we'll worry about the DTM stuff somewhere else. I have enough touring cars that they could be there on their own shelf. I have enough rally cars now that they could be on their own shelf. And then I'm going to sort of upfill, because you can't see below the screen here, but Porsches are on the bottom and Mercedes are in the middle here, and there's enough of those that they've outgrown their containment. So I may just build, Porsches on the bottom, and then fill up half the shelf of Porsches, build the Mercedes from the bottom, and then let the Mercedes go up onto that shelf. Yeah, there's just too much. It's just too much. Some of you guys know exactly how many model kits I have, because I share with you my ScaleMate stuff when I'm done with it. And I really just need to get into building some things, you might say. I don't know, guys. I think that's pretty much it. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this one. This will be up, by the way, so anybody who didn't watch this live, it'll be searchable for the next 4 hours, I believe what they said, in terms of being able to just go back and then catch back up live feed wise. And then after that, it'll just be archived like any other YouTube video will be. So yeah, I think that was a pretty successful test. We were 45 minutes or so quality. But it's been pretty good. I've put up somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 200,000 frames and only dropped 1,200 of them. So we've had a pretty good upflow. Seems like it's been pretty steady once I figured out the audio problem. Now that I know what the audio problem is, see, this was a learning experience, guys. Appreciate all your help with that. Certainly now I know to turn the speakers off so that I don't feedback over myself, even though I shouldn't be doing that in the first place. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys on the other side.